The first round of patch notes is out for Soulmask. This is the bug fix or hotfix 1, and I'm going to go through my highlights for this video and give you what I think is most exciting from these patch notes. I'll also link them in the description of the video if you want to read them all for yourself. The first thing that I want to cover here is not first on the list, but you can now punch trees in order to get rid of them. You do not gain any resources from punching trees, but if you want them gone very quickly, you can just walk up and punch them. Deter has received protection. Now what this means is that you have invulnerability frames while you are doing the deter animation. It says deter no longer inflicts damage on either side. I don't know if that means that when you're deterring, if you have another friend with you and they're attacking the enemy, it won't do damage to them at that point in time. So both people engaged in deter, both yourself and the person you're deterring, gain invulnerability during that animation. The production from advanced wood, so these are going to be trees that would produce hardwood or maybe premium hardwood, they are now going to also produce regular logs. So it's going to be much easier for you to find logs alongside with hardwood. They optimize the attack range of the butcher's knife to prevent missing resources from small animals. The map marker function now accepts spaces in the naming of those map markers. Being inflicted with the plague will no longer result in death, it will only progress to the state of near death at most. So that's really good. You can't die from that, but you still need to cure it in order to get out of that near-death state. It's kind of a loop cycle once you get infected by the plague. Adjusted the consuming speed of the bee drawing syrup for additional bees. The cost of bee drawing syrup has been reduced to 2 units. That's a really good change because I felt like getting bees was extremely difficult with the amount of resources that it required. When placing a bonfire, the system now checks for terrain obstructions getting stuck in rocks upon respawning. Load or encumbrance no longer affects your rolling speed and distance as long as max load is not exceeded. So you are going to be able to roll the same if you are under your max load. That's a really good change and I like that feature. Rainforest Flint boss, including those in the mangrove, claw bosses, and fang barrack bosses on the hill, will now guarantee deer skin as a drop. This next change is a huge change and I'm really excited to see them making these adjustments. They reduced the drop speed of weapons and gear's durability, so your gear and weapons should last longer and not have to be repaired or replaced as often. Increase the crafting experience earned for certain items. So I don't know what those items are, but there should be certain things that now gain more experience when crafting them. Adjusted the materials required to craft the water bucket, replacing the copper wire with copper ingots. This is a nice change. You no longer have to make that copper wire. They have some sound effect related notes in here, one of those being lowered the volume of sounds associated with enemy alert and being spotted. As you know, when you're in a camp and you have a ton of stuff spotting you, it can get very annoying hearing that ding over and over and over again. I'd like to see them put a setting in the game where maybe you could shut this off or lower it even more. They added a keybind setting for keep running, which is going to be your auto run, so you can go in and change that keybind to what you want. Additionally, they added a keybind setting for calling your mount if you want to change that as well. They fixed the issue that prevented completion of the alpaca quest in specific scenarios. So if you've been stuck on that quest, then you should be able to complete that now. Optimize the quests that require placing various constructions. Now interacting with existing crafting tables suffices the quest completion, eliminating the need for placing multiple identical constructions within a guild to meet the quest requirements. This is a huge change for the quality of life of the game. Fix the crafting quest for beast bone weapons, where the weapons crafted by a tribesman did not contribute to quest completion. Tutorial quests can now be skipped using the page down key. Fix an issue where certain skills such as the dual blade leap attacks could pull the player back to the original position after execution. Fix the persistent spawning issue of NPC invaders. Optimize the attack method of the battering ram, which can now deal damage to constructions above it. The recover period following most attacks has been minimized, facilitating easier cancellation through jumping, moving, weapon switching, defending, and other skill actions. This is going to be your animation cancel abilities, so if you're in the middle of a fight and you're attacking and you want to cancel that animation, you can do that more easily. Reduce the hitching and stuttering frames to prevent movements from seeming unsmooth during periods of low server frame rate. UI related things. The right-click menu will now automatically close after an action is performed. This is when you're in the menus and you right-click on something in your inventory to use it. That menu used to just pop up and stay there. When igniting facilities that require fuel, a corresponding prompt message is now displayed. Parrots are now configured by default to send alerts when constructions are being attacked. Optimize the rules for tribesmen's work assignment to prevent misunderstandings during certain operations. And I want to know in the comment section below if you understand how to set up tribesmen work, or if you're still having issues getting your automation set up. So then they have a handful of bug fixes here, but I'm only going to cover a couple of them, and you can read over all of them in the link that I'd put in the description. The ones that I want to cover here is they fixed an issue where tribesmen recruited during the barbarian invasion would disappear after some time. I thought this was rather funny. Entering a near-death state while climbing will now result in falling to the ground instead of remaining suspended in midair. I'd like to thank all my YouTube members for your continued support. Y'all are absolute legends. Don't be out of whack. There's another video on the screen right now that you can watch to support more of my content.